We saw that letter today, as we should. A whole lot of organisations. I mean, if these woke corporates can go out there and stand for the voice, they can stand for the anti-Semitism that's infecting Australia. I thought that was really heartening to see, Kosha. But I guess, you know, this is a civilisational moment for the West.
It is, and I think what's happened as a leadership on the left, just as a generalization, is walking a tightrope here. If you look at the Prime Minister here and his counterparts everywhere else, where he's on the back of 40, 50 years of this coalition of the fringes that have very little in common. And then every so often you see these issues bubble up. This is a civilizational fight. And it's very difficult for him or others in the leadership to fight that. I always talk about there's two layers of what's fomenting this unrest right now, the civilizational battle. At the bottom, the core layer is really just the demographics and the fabric, which is a direct consequence of immigration policy, for better or for worse. There's good that comes of it. There's other things that come from it, strife, and that's, you know, part of it. And the other piece is sort of what's shaping public opinion between the media and the university sector. So this letter is an example of fighting back on the public shaping, but the underlying foundation of just the reality of the fabric of the country is harder to battle, and I think that's where the civilizational fight is going to come into.
And just quickly, Michael, this is where we're seeing results like we saw with Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, aren't we?
And the softening of opinion in Australia. I can't believe that all around the world, these demonstrations, these violent demonstrations, these anti-Semitic demonstrations, these river to the sea demonstrations aren't affecting normal people, regular people in Middle America, in Middle Australia, in Middle Britain. And I think they're just helping the ride of politics and sometimes the harder ride of politics.
Yeah, and I think they are. I do think they're impacting on ordinary people. They're not necessarily sure how they signal their support, but they're definitely not with the left. Just quickly, we heard some dates came out today in relation to presidential debates. 2024 US presidential election year. What can you tell us?
I think the saga continues, and it really is unprecedented.
It is like days of our lives, isn't it?
And it's, you know, buckle up for the year ahead. I think, you know, when I look at the dynamic, what's different and what's really, I guess, interesting is one adjective I'd use for this is you've got the by and large front runner on the Republican side facing 4 indictments and realistically could end up in prison, whether it's legitimate or not. That's just something unprecedented, the legal aspect interfering in the election system. And then you have this whole concept of the third party candidate, which is really on the rise, and you know they'll never win, but they could be a spoiler in a country that's so divided.
Who will they spoil more?
And that's the question. So you've got RFK Jr., you've got Jill Stein, you've got, you know, potentially Joe Manchin, you've got Cornel West. There's all these players, and you don't know. It's really difficult to predict who they're going to spoil. And in a country that divided, where the margin of victory is going to be 1 or 2 percentage points, it can make a difference. And so it's anybody who's prognosticating how this will go is not being honest.
And the Republicans, just quickly?
The Republicans, I mean, Trump remains 40, 50, 60 points ahead. I think the battle is for second place, really, and like a far away second place.
And who could be his running mate?
Well, his running mate, I think he's leaving that open. It might be a wild card. I don't know.
What about the governor of West Virginia?
We'll leave it there.
Trump's running mate.
Okay.
We'll get into that next week. Michael Danby, Kosha Gada, thank you.